Hello, West Pacific Market Analytics, and it's Glenn here with the West Pacific Week. Trying to get back to some regular posting here. It's time to get moving. Looking really good for a solid reversal coming forward here into the coming weeks. We'll see what they want. I mean, the Fed is still very actively trying to support all the spending, the out-of-control deficit spending. I even read a quote that the Fed bought close to $48 billion worth of Treasury notes just the past week alone to keep fueling this insanity spending we're seeing ongoing in this country today. It cannot end well. I really don't care about anything but the data model, and that's what we're going to look at. The patterns, the data rule above anything we read or anything we hear. You can't grok this stuff. You cannot AI any of the data modeling we're looking at. It's not able to do that. It's not able at this point in time to be able to do what we are doing here at West Pacific Market Analytics. And I do not see that coming anytime quickly. I think it's going to be more important to be able to visually see a market model that's going on, to understand what we see in the algorithmic patterns of momentum. And momentum is everything. So quickly, the disclaimer: these charts and updates are for educational and entertainment purposes only. Always take risk on your own and understand it. Please read the disclaimer, and then we'll get into it. All right, let's go. Let's just go through. Here we are over here on our Discord member site. We've been talking about a lot here. By the way, let me just click back over there. You want to get a hold of me, information on the Discord membership, destinytrading@gmail.com to give me an email, and I'll shoot you off some information. Now, here we go. I want to start off, first of all, let's get down here. This is some of the stuff I posted today. We'll just go over some of this quickly. We were talking about a lot of other stuff here in the categories, but I really think we're looking pretty clean. Let's start out with the FANG here. You'll notice out of the 2022 low, we've got a very looking clean wave one. Look at this nice A, B, C pattern for a 2. And then again, going up for the 3 here. Nice move up, nice move down, nice move up. Looks like a really clean looking 3. Then an A, B, C for the 4. And then a really short little finishing wave 5 to finish off. Well, do we need to get any higher? I think we don't. You notice the V channel here's below. We have the momentum rolling over on the dot curve. We've got the bear cross. It tried to test it here. It continues to break lower. You notice up here on the bear cross, back here, much higher positioning in the momentum V channel compared to its below price now. Here we were below price here, but you notice that it is much lower here, whereas price was lower, V was higher, price is higher, V is lower. That is a very fast looking setup now. So since we now know that this was not an A wave down and a B wave up, since we broke to new highs, we're now back to considering this a fast A wave lower. Talk to my members about the target. Obviously it will be below this low, so we're shooting for the A wave lower. Could take us right down here into this V channel. That will take us lower here than this target on the FANG. We're going to take a look at it, but I really like the look of that pattern. And then you can see this look of this pattern here as well. Is that the one I wanted to share? Yeah, right here. Let's just look at this. The SPX single, ignore the 2 here. That shouldn't be there. Depends on how you want to label that. But no matter how you label that, let's take a look out of this low in 2020. We could label this an A, a B, and a C. Right? You see that looks pretty clean. We could label it a 1, a 2, a tiny and actually short 3, and then a small collective 4, and then a big wave 5 here. It could even look like that, but I really don't like to label Elliott wave. I just like to see that we've got a clean A, B, C looking pattern, or we got a very clean looking 5 wave into the trend signal now rolling over up top. Now you notice this trend signal is a double trend signal. Last time we had a double trend signal was back here in July of 22, and you notice there's one big signal that we've had that's continued to be moving down as we continue this 5 wave or C wave pattern here. But no matter how we look at it, it is definitely looking very solid up top here. Now I want to just quickly go into a few things here. I want to go up to this one model. Let's go back here again. The market advancing. You'll notice that it continues to drain here. This is the market, okay? This is not the FANG where we've now got the 5-wave top. So you can see that the overall market has been selling off very aggressively since the top back here in the middle of 2023. You notice the velocity is draining. We've now got the velocity and trend is actually broken clean of the V channel here. That sets this up to start to get aggressive here soon. Trend down here, velocity coming out. You can see the advancing side of the market is just absolutely draining. And so just be wary there. I posted this on Twitter. Bearish positioning put in a all-time historic low going all the way back here. Notice the bearish positioning here at the 2000 top. Notice the bearish positioning here at the 2007 top. I mean, that is just incredible, right? And now we've got bearish positioning down here with the markets at record highs at the lowest tick we've ever seen in the bear model. All-time historic low. So how in the world are they going to exit this market up here? There's going to be no bears to cover. I really don't know when the robos decide they need to start selling their positions how this is going to unfold. Could we finally be talking about a bidless type move? Yes, we could. Let's take a look at this small cap options model, and then I want to jump over to something in the bond sector I find interesting. But look at this small cap options model. You notice right here, middle of 2024 right here. You notice here we topped out on the momentum. Momentum's draining. Look at this. Our signal here has came out of that out of that low here and has now hit the dot curve. This looks done here. This rally back up in small caps. And you notice here our last top in small caps was up here. So as we've had this FANG rally, it is all FANG. The small caps have been selling off and didn't even get nearly as high as they had here at the high we had on the last move down. So there's no small caps here to push it. It looks pretty much like it's all going to be in the bigger tech sector. And finance, because finance is still really strong. Now let's just pop up here in this one model I wanted to show you. There's a lot we're looking at. Maybe we'll pop over there and look at some of these others. I want to show you this idea right here in high yield, okay? All these models that we're going to look at here in high yield debt represent $1 trillion. So this little red indicator here represents over $1 trillion of high yield debt in what we're modeling here. This is something that not many people are looking at. You notice that we finally hit the black line here for the first time. We've never hit the black line. We didn't hit it here, and you notice we didn't get it here. So we finally have rallied to the black line hit. You notice the trend is rolling over. It is much deeper than the red indicator, and it is all bending over. So let's take a look a little bit more at this $1 trillion in high yield debt. And I find this particular model here real interesting. You notice this big pop out we had here in 2024. You notice the aggressive look to the V channel going out into the remainder of 25 and into 2026. The high yield, or this model, representing $1 trillion. And you notice there it is right there. Look, we've never hit the black line till right there. Do you see it? Look up close. You see it hitting that black line? That never happened since back here in the 2016-2017 period when it was following up it. You notice the momentum's top now in this high yield model, and it is looking very aggressive to the downside now. So I really closely want to be watching some of these models in the bond area. It's really interesting. And then you can see in this particular model here, you notice here again how we had this pop out above the V channel. We see these pop outs all over the place above the V channel. That is just not something you want to see. You notice here we're peaked out as high as we can go. The trend is breaking away here. Price cannot go any higher in any of the velocity models we're looking at. That's the pattern top, and it is fully maxed out. Look at US finance here. We had a top back here. in 2018 with the velocity way up here, price down here. Here's our 2022 top right here. You notice then selling off. And now you notice we've got lower velocity this time. Trends holding up here. And finance is looking ready to finally roll over. But you can see finance has been really, really strong into this move. In the financial sector, whether it be the banks or the brokers or the insurance industry, have all been a large part of this rally. Take a look here, the sentiment indicator. The trend is starting to break now. Again, the momentum is coming out of the move. Look at this aggressive move starting now in the velocity. The velocity started down and now the velocity is collapsing. It's looking extremely bearish in the sentiment indicator. So we're going to be watching that closely. Let's look at QQQ and SPY options. The QQQ options are much stronger here. That's them here in red. So you can see we were able to rally back up into the velocity. We're allowed to do that. But you notice this entire rally, the trend is continuing to break lower. You notice we came right up here. Here's 2024. Here's our 4100 low. We came up here into the V channel. We broke above the V channel. This last push down took us back into the V. We were waiting for the velocity to roll over. It's now rolled over. The trend's aggressively moving lower. And the options on the QQQ is ready to break down. The SPY options are much weaker. Same kind of look to the model here, right? But you notice the trend's still breaking down, no change, and the velocity is now rolling over. It's finished. The SPY options and the QQQ options into this 5-wave move. Look, we can even see a clean looking 5-wave move into the NASDAQ finance model. You see it here, 1, 2, huge 3, big 4, and then this final 5 push up. We've got a clean 5-wave count in all of the finance sector within the NASDAQ in stocks. So yeah, I'm just seeing it looking really, really good all over the place. Take a look here on the Dow. Look at the Dow. The trend's breaking away. Look how low velocity is here. You got a nice triple hit here on this rally. The Dow's ready to begin its collapse lower again as well there. Now, what else do I got here? I mean, just everything we're looking at, it looks real right. Now, I wanted to finish off here with one last idea that I think could be really important. Well, let's look at this. I didn't share this. This is the 200 direct moving average of the S&P. I wanted to show you that. You notice we've got the closed signal here. We're still closed. We've hit the gate right here. It cannot go any higher. It's ready to reverse down. Now, what's interesting is notice this red needs to price all the way down here into our V channel. Notice here it priced into V. Notice back here it priced into V, and then it priced into V up here as well. So this is ready to break down. The 200 DMA model of the S&P looks really, really interesting. Look at this small cap option model hitting the dot curve, ready to head lower. So again, it just looks like this push up is done. Now here's the one I wanted to finish off with. I don't want to talk about what this is. I did talk to my members about what we're looking at here. But look at this going all the way back to 2016 here. Here's your V channel rising up, right? And price trying to get up into it. Was holding below, but it doesn't matter. It can be below as the V channel's pulling up on price. And look at it just rising up, rising up. And then look, right here in 2023, our momentum topped out. You notice how we started trading sideways here. This is our 2022 corrective move, but what we're looking at is this red indicator. Look at it trading sideways right over into our V channel. Was able to rally up out of the 4100 to the dot curve here, and then it's popped out. And this is where we had that huge correction because it needs to price back down here. You notice the entire time this has been rising, price cannot be up here. This now needs to all collapse right down here back into the V channel. That is an ugly looking setup. And we can see it here, same lookout. You see this pop out here, the V channel, all just kind of trying to hold up above here, and it all needs to collapse back down. So, I mean, that right there just really speaks to me in so many ways. I just think it's all ripe. It's all ready to go. This was just a few of the things that stood out here as I was looking at some of the data modeling here this week. I wanted to point those out. I put them out here on Glenn's stream, which is where I share a lot of the data to keep them clean. You know, I put my data on its own. That way it's not crowded here with the chat board, you can go straight in here and you can view my models without having any clutter if you're working on a mobile app, because our platform works very well. You can go in here, you can click on the models, you can see like that, view it very cleanly in your mobile app, and take a look at any time since we're updating here every day in the market. So again, you want to get a hold of me, DestinyTrading@gmail.com. Quick update. Let's see how it sets up in the next week. We're in the dog days of summer here. Not really typically the time to see a sell-off, but we're kind of in a unique period in time here. We're going to see what it wants to do. So let's see how next week sets up, see how much more they want to try to protect this. But everything is setting up and looks really ripe now to see this market start to finally roll back over. Have a great week. Thanks for tuning in. Glenn out.